Hey, deserving listeners, Love is Blind, the reunion, season 6. Let's check it out.
That's because she liked to unfollow us and still follow our fiancés at the lake day, which I thought was strange. This is like a lot.
You guys iced me out of a group chat.
Nobody was mean to you.
Somebody
Nobody was
iced
mean
me out.
to you.
Okay, I don't know. I wish they'd just move forward. So Chelsea's saying that you unfollowed us on Instagram and you remained following of our partners or of the men in this group. Yeah, what do we think is going on that Sarah is trying to get with all the guys on the show? What I imagine is that she didn't have any reason to dislike the other people on the show, the men, because they weren't coming after her like the women were. So it had nothing to do with gender. It's just like, well, this group of cast hates me, so I'll unfollow. I don't want to be reminded of these people that hate me. But the other cast members are fine. I'm guessing that's all that it was.
Iced me out of a group chat.
But nobody was mean to you.
Because
what is there to say?
Okay, well, and you know what, Jess? You saw me crying after he broke up with me, and I said, I feel gaslighted, and I was heartbroken when I left, and you watched me bawl my eyes out, and you defended him.
Gaslighted? That word, people. Just say tricked. Just say tricked. Deceived. Tricked. Have we forgotten the word trick? Lied to? Deceived? Just say that. Just say that. Why corrupt a clinical term that refers to something way beyond what you are talking? Just say lied. Lied, tricked, deceived. These are horrible words. You don't need to exaggerate it, right? And, if you're particular or compulsive or overly tidy, just say that. Don't say you have OCD. If you have a reaction to something and it feels like a little intense because you're having a reaction, like there's a song on the radio that you associate with getting broken up with, and you hear the song, like you were broken up in the past with, and you hear the song, you have a little memory. Don't say you have PTSD. Just say you're having a reaction, or even a trauma reaction, but not PTSD. Or if someone seems self-centered to you, don't say that they're narcissistic. Don't exaggerate. Don't make shit up. Don't use clinical terms that you don't know what they mean. You weren't being gaslit. You felt tricked. Right? Clearly, you weren't tricked because he did want to be with you to some extent. Anyway, but we're hearing from her that she was hurt by Jess because they get back to the pods and she was crying about being dumped by Jeremy. And she's saying, you defended Jeremy, not me. Well, because Jess is friends with Laura. Jess and Laura were very, very good friends. I mean, I guess the best thing for Jess in that situation is just not really get involved. Or, well, even so, I just think you would be nice to someone in a situation like that. But I can imagine, given what we heard from everybody, that, because according to Sarah in the pods, Laura, and I'm guessing Jessica too, because Jessica and Laura were very close, even in the pods, like very, very close. And if Laura was saying that she's a pick-me girl, and like I was saying earlier, the way that Sarah comes across is that she doesn't have a lot invested, that she doesn't really care, but she did. She was just reserved and trying to protect herself, I think. And so for Jessica, where she was coming from in that moment, is she's like, this woman is fake. We've decided that. I think that's a leap, but I think that they had good reason to think that anyway. And for Jess, she's thinking, that woman is a rival with my best friend, and I don't like her, and so I want her out. And then he breaks up with Sarah. Sarah goes back in. She's crying. If you're Jess, you could imagine her thinking, you're not really sad because you're not really invested. And it did look like that in the edit. Sarah did not seem... Anyway, so I think that's happening. And so she's hurt. So Jess, in this moment, if I'm going to spread it around, could say, yeah, I'm sorry. I should have been kinder to you. At the time, it was wrong of me, but I was really rooting for Laura and him. Looking back, that's strange, but at the time, and I guess I kind of saw you as a rival. And when you were crying, I also didn't think you were being authentic. I thought you were act crying, but I think that was wrong of me to assume. And so I heard you saying that he gaslit you and you were accusing him of things. And back then, anyway, I was really hoping for Laura and hoping that Laura and Jeremy were going to work out. And so given my perspective at the time, I thought you were lying. I thought you were attacking my best friend's future fiance wrongly. You and I weren't really bonded, but I shouldn't have been mean to you. At the very least, I just should have let you be. But yeah, to come after you or to defend him, it's pretty tone deaf in the moment. And, I'm sorry about that.
Me. Because you were never a girl's girl. Ever, honey. And you sat there and told me that I'm not a girl's girl? You're not. That's why you got removed. You watched me bawl my eyes
Being the loudest in the room does not make you the most noticeable.
It doesn't matter. I'm not trying to be loud. It's not about that.
Okay, I'm going to have to turn on the subtitles again.
Not me. Because you were never a girl's girl. Ever, honey. And you sat there and told me that I'm not a girl's girl? You're not. That's why you got removed. You watched me bawl my eyes
So this whole bit from Sarah, this energy is around her having been removed from a group chat of maybe not all the women, but sort of the finalists. I think that Pee in a Pool girl is in there too as well. For her, it sounds like it hurt her. I could see why that would happen given the course of events, but I think that's what she's saying. It's like, I didn't unfollow y'all and not unfollow the guys because I'm trying to get with all the guys. Well, yeah. So I think what Sarah is saying is right now is, wait, Chelsea, you're accusing me that I rejected you, that I was a jerk to you guys. You rejected me all the way back in the pods when I was at my lowest moment. Jess came after me, and because for Sarah, she could conclude that Jess represents, because, there's cliques, and there probably was a very noticeable clique between, well, I imagine Chelsea was sort of outside that clique as well at the time. We saw that sort of faction, Jess and the Laura, and I can't remember who else was there. But anyway, when Chelsea had just been told by Jimmy that he loved her. Anyway, so yeah, I think I understand where Sarah's coming from. There's a very different way you could be talking about this. But anyway, so I think Jess is saying being the loudest in the room does not make you the most noticeable. They're talking about right now. Yeah. If someone is trying to bully or overtalk, that is a good comeback, I think. Certain politicians probably need to be told that.
The loudest in the room does not make you the most noticeable.
It doesn't matter. I'm not trying to be loud. It's not about that. I'm always loud.
So take your moment and then I'll speak. No one could empathize with your situation more than I could, honestly.
Okay. Seems to be going in a good direction. Let's see where this goes.
Truly. And I think we can all agree everyone's feelings are valid and we're all entitled to having them. We just, as a group, we all thought both of you could have handled the situation more respectfully.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's great. Jessica's being very mature. She's being the adult in the room, and she even handled Sarah like an adult. Like, I'll wait for you to scream it all out, and then I'm going to talk, okay? That's the way you talk to kids sometimes. It's like, I'm not going to get in a yelling match with you, so when you're done doing this, then we can talk. And then she summarizes what I've been saying of, like, you're entitled to your feelings, and you could have handled it differently. And then Jeremy says, absolutely. Tell us more about that, Jeremy. Humanize yourself.
Simply just show some consideration.
Just curious if any of you have seen Jeremy in the subsequent time.
Since the show.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Every time I see him, they're broken up.
Yeah.
I don't need the audience, but I think that's what I was wondering about. That they are trying to portray a certain And really, a lot of couples will do that because they're trying to vindicate themselves or something. But in the very beginning of this, I would really want to know how Sarah sees him. Because if he has changed, or if the allegations aren't even true, or the impressions that some of us, including myself, are getting from the edits are, if that all isn't accurate, then Sarah would know. Sarah would know a lot. And the way that he presents, I don't think that he would have the ability, if the allegations are true or even half true, and the impression is true or half true, then his behavior would become problematic very quickly. And Sarah would have definitely seen that by now. But if she hasn't seen it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but it does indicate some optimism. So I wonder, but I doubt Sarah would be, I guess what we would have to wait for is the high possibility that Sarah and Jeremy will break up, and then Sarah will go on Instagram and give her tell-all eventually, which I would put money on that happening.
So they're broken.
They're broken up every time I see them.
So when have you seen them?
There's more.
Okay, let's.
I've seen her one time. I've seen you one time.
I've seen you twice. And I
I-
asked if you were still with Sarah Ann, and you said no.
When, okay. We have gone through,
Okay, yeah, I tend to believe Chelsea on that one. And Jeremy didn't really refute that. Yeah. I mean, I just wish we'd move on to someone else. But it doesn't really matter. It's like, oh my God, they've had troubles in their relationship. Who cares? I'm guessing a lot of the couples have had occasional troubles. I mean, I guess the allegation or the gasps from the audience is that the thinking is that they never went on the show legitimately, or Jeremy didn't go on the show legitimately. I don't know. But the fact that they've been breaking up occasionally doesn't say that.
real life relationship stuff since we have been together. Have we had our ons and offs? Yes, we've had our ons and offs. We've had our ups and downs. We've had times where we've contemplated separating from each other. We've had times where we've had to make up in order to make that.
Okay, yeah, this is good. I think that's believable. It would be weird if it wasn't true.
I guess to the magnitude of the internet, I never really could understand that people really do become the FBI and pause things, and that's where I reside.
The
and
fans are sleuths. They're like, I know that painting.
when I posted the video, it wasn't to spoil anything. That wasn't my intention.
Yeah, I think someone sent me this, that she posted something on Instagram, and I don't know what she was doing exactly, but from my understanding, people pieced together the crown molding and said, that's Jeremy's crown molding, which is kind of a leap, because if you have homes that have similar Home Depot crown molding, but yeah. So I don't think that Sarah is stupid for not thinking about that. I think that that's something that other people would know, if you live in that kind of world where there is a lot of internet sleuthing.
I have to ask you about something else. You posted a video saying, and I quote, "This is reality television. It's meant to entertain you, and that's exactly what we're doing. We didn't miss with this one, baby," end quote. Let's take a look at that clip so everyone has a context.
Oh, God.
So I think the producers are asking Nick to ask about this because they want to really get, I think, the message out there that it's not scripted and it's not all a show, right? Because I think that when Sarah posted that, it had that implication or inadvertent implication. And of course, the producers would not want that out there. And if Sarah was trying to imply that, then I think her mission was to say, look, it's reality TV, and I wasn't really being myself. I was entertaining, so stop attacking me. And I don't blame her for trying something, because the amount of vitriol and hostility I think particularly the women get on the show is just immoral. It's awful. It's pure and simple bullying. Even if you're just one person liking something, you're a part of a very large, very effective group of people that is very much trying to hurt someone's feelings. You're trying to make someone feel like shit. It's just not okay. if you want to make a politician feel like shit who participated in drone bombing a bunch of innocents, then sure. But Sarah? No.
Everybody out today. I love it.
This is a reality television. It is meant to entertain.
Right. So I think that's the crown molding in question, which I have to say, it's not particular crown molding. I don't know. Maybe people are piecing together other things like the door and the trim and that everything else is the same.
And I think that's exactly what we're doing. We didn't miss with this one, baby. We didn't miss.
So be very, very clear about this right now. Was this all just for entertainment?
I will say this, that...
Oh, maybe it's also a question of, wait, were you just acting the whole time? Was this just one big act? And yeah, really, what is she trying to say? I assume it is what I was thinking earlier, that she's trying to get the bullies to stop, and she had a thought. These people, they don't have PR teams typically. Sometimes they do, but even if they did, I have had PR consultants very briefly years ago, and they're not the geniuses that you would hope they would be. I mean, the kinds of advice that I got from these professionals, when I look back especially, I think, wow, if you were a genius in social media or entertainment, you wouldn't be sitting in that chair. You would be famous. You would be an influencer. So you know a little bit about something. They were talking to me as someone who had succeeded in social media. But I didn't think of myself as an expert. I just always figured, anyway, I'm sure there are legit experts out there, but even the high-powered PR people, I've never heard them talk and said, whoa, that makes a lot of sense. I just think it's, if there was some magical formula, then people would use it, but it's subtle. It's kind of like art in a way where you just don't know what's going to land. Anyway, so she doesn't have a PR team, and even if she did, it wouldn't really matter. And so as they live their life and they're having their ups and downs throughout the day, they're looking at the comments, and you could just imagine someone in Sarah's position just being like, I know what I'll do. I'll make this video and I'll say, we entertained, we did it, y'all.
I fell in love with who Jeremy is as a person, and we've had a strong connection since the very beginning of this experiment, okay? And I don't think for a second that anything between us is fake.
To throw out there so casually, this is entertainment. We didn't miss with this one, baby.
Yeah, I think the producers told them, you want to go after, or even just them independently are thinking this, that, look, kid, if you're going to come out and say that this is all entertainment, we're going to confront you on that. Because if that's true, then that's bad for you, because we're not doing that for that. Or at the very least, we're going to send a message to other cast members that you better not say that kind of shit, because we're going to come down on you.
That's where the disconnect is happening.
The reason I put the video up is I'm experiencing a ton of hate on the internet, and I'm just a character, you know what I mean? There's never an interview of me talking about how I feel.
Right, that's what I suspected, yeah. I think there's a better way to communicate this, but yeah, I think that's true. And it's good that she is aware of that.
Feel about this man at all. And that's unfortunate, because there was a lot of heartfelt conversations around.
But I think that they didn't air all that because he had picked Laura, so they aired.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, so she is saying on camera, there was a lot of affection and emotion and heartfelt things that showed that I was for real, and all that was cut out. But they also cut out Laura's bits because they knew, because they shoot everything, and then maybe even months later, they start putting the edit together, and they decided they were going to leave out all three of their, the Laura and the Sarah and the Jeremy footage of any sort of positive parts of that, or they limited it, because one, for time, and two, because they didn't care about investing the audience in that couple, which is, I find to be kind of funny that that's the strategy. And, they've made a successful show, so what do I know? But you would think that it would be more entertaining to, as a viewer, at least be kind of on the fence about a couple where you're thinking, oh, you know, they seem like they're kind of working out, but what's that? And then it's like a mystery. You don't know what's going to happen. Whereas if you are given a cut that you're like, well, obviously things are going to work out for them. Like, I don't think anyone was surprised when Lauren and Jeremy broke up. It was a surprise how they did it, but I don't think anyone was surprised, right? So you would think they would be wanting there to be surprises. I don't know.
But is it safe to say that the relationship...
Wait, why did the Jerry Springer audience freak out?
Conversations around.
But I think
What
that
we
they
were
didn't
doing.
air all that because he had picked Laura, so they aired.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
But is it safe...
Oh, so they think of it as like a burn? I don't think Vanessa, her name's Vanessa, right? I don't think that she was trying to burn her. I think she's making a point. It's like, well, yeah, they didn't include that because it wasn't crucial to the narrative.
A flight to my wedding. And within days, he was with you. He met my whole family. Very few people in my entire life have met the most important people to me. He held my dog. And then literally hours later, basically decided that he had chosen you instead.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. It's all true. And Sarah should listen to that.
You were asking me for advice on your new relationship with him, which I wanted absolutely nothing to do with, obviously. I was hoping and praying for you guys to come in here with some humility and come with an apology and realize that this was my real life. I understand you guys are together now, whatever, that's fine. But this was my real life and my...
Yeah, Laura's being very relatable right now. I'm not surprised. We almost never... It's almost like people are ready for a fight when they come on the show, and they present almost their worst side, aside from a few people, like Irina during season 4, during the reunion. I remember her being non-confrontational and, in her version, accepting of the criticism. But yeah, so often people just come out swinging, you know, because we saw Sarah around that time at the lake goes to Laura at the height of all the feelings and had a much more balanced point of view. So it is kind of weird. It's like, is there something about the environment that most of their executive function turns off or something? Or they're trying to strategize? Well, there's a culture, maybe mainstream in my country, that when someone confronts you, you must win. And to win means you are dominant and you got zingers and you prove your point and you never accept that you did anything wrong. So maybe that's what's playing out because, you know, there's an audience and they just think, well, if I'm going to save face, I have to hold the line.
This is your real life, and now you're real babies and families. Even Laura sitting over there, she's like, my 96-year-old grandma, this was my real life that was made a mockery of. The show didn't make a mockery of her.
Right. I think this points to the producers and or Vanessa and Nick trying to get out ahead of any sort of narrative that would imply that this is all scripted and fake. It's like, right, Laura's talking about her real life. This is reality TV, real life. Not some sort of game that you were implying.
No. And I'll clarify that right now, probably taken out of context. That was, to be quite frank, to put out entertainment of my own. But no, I think the experiment does work. I mean, I'm sitting next to someone that, you know. Yeah,
they're really trying to drive home. I think Sarah has received the message. Yeah. This is real, and it's good to point this out. I don't have any reason to believe that they aren't real, especially when they will say that they have their ups and downs, they've had their breakups.
Hearts got broken, and I apologize for that. That's not what I wanted, Laura. That's not what I wanted. I'm sorry.
I will still maintain that nothing happened between Sarah Ann and I that night. It was wrong. Should not have done it. That's not her fault. That is absolutely on me.
Okay. Should have led with that, Jeremy, the next day. But yeah, good. He could go further, but that's good. That's good. Kudos.
And I'm sorry for that.
To take some accountability, and that's all I've been waiting for a year.
We are happy you found each other.
That's good. And Laura acknowledges it. That's what I've been waiting for. Just some, that sort of accountability. Not the accountability of like, I own it. That's all you say. But you're recognizing that it was wrong, what you did, even if you didn't get together. Okay, well, that's enough out of me for now. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself. Truly, because you deserve it. You really, really do.